Okay. So good day. This will be our first topic for prelims, and it's about the introduction on risk management. So actually, when we talk about risk, it is more on uncertainty, right? Um, when you hear the word risk, first thing that comes to mind is danger or something will happen, something bad will happen. But actually, there are different kinds or there are different definitions when it comes to risk. Okay, so actually, when you say risk, it's not all bad. It can also be good. So we will be discussing that as we go on. So defining risk according to Oxford English Dictionary, risk is a chance or possibility of danger, loss, injury, or other adverse consequences. This definition emphasizes the potential for negative outcomes. So this is what most people would understand about risk. When they hear the word risk, something dangerous will happen or something bad might happen. There is the uncertainty or there's the chance that everything will not happen according to plan or something like that, or something bad will happen. That's what most of us would understand about risk. But let's take a look at the ISO Guide 73. According to ISO Guide 73, risk is the effect of uncertainty on objectives. So, from Oxford English Dictionary, it only talks about the negative side of risk. Whereas for ISO, it's more, it kind of broadens the definition and, or the definition or the scope, acknowledging that risk can involve both positive and negative outcomes, as well as deviations from expected results. So, in here, again, uh, according to Oxford English Dictionary, it's like 100% negative. For ISO, there is this chance that there is something good that will happen. It's just the uncertainty that the objectives will not be met, or there are some deviations. When you say deviations, like objective is 100%, just like 75% was met, yun yung medyo deviation. That's the meaning of that. So it's just like a chance that something might not happen 100%, but it will happen. What I mean is not total 100% good. Something, or there's a chance that something bad will happen, but not 100% negative. Unlike when it comes to Oxford definition. Okay. Now we moving on to Institute of Risk Management or IRM. Risk is the combination of the probability of an event and its consequence. This definition highlights the two key factors in assessing risk, which is the likelihood. How likely is the event? Likelihood, gaano ito kadalas mangyari, and the impact. What are the consequences if the event occurs? What's the damage, or how wide, what's the impact, the effect? Gaano ka negative or gaano ka positive ang effect nitong impact. Okay? So it's broader than Oxford and ISO. In here, di ba, sa ISO, it was just considering that there's just a deviation from the original plan or the objective. For the IRM, it takes into consideration the likelihood and the impact. Again, likelihood, it means how often will this event occur. And for the impact, of course, it's the effect, the magnitude, or yeah, the impact, gaano siya kabigat, gaano siya ka-damaging, ayun, kapag nangyari yung event na yun. And lastly, for Institute of Internal Auditors or IIA, risk is the uncertainty of an event occurring that could have an impact on the achievement of objectives. This definition emphasizes the potential for risk to disrupt plans or goals. So, medyo similar siya sa ISO Guide 73. Ito, sa 73 deviations lang. Ito, there's a potential wherein it disrupts, it stops the plan or goals. Or like a bottleneck or there are some problems. Yun yung risk na pwedeng mangyari. When you say disrupt, like it stops, uh, it's, it is damaging that the plans could not push through. Yun yung according to IIA definition. Okay? So there are different types of risk. First would be the compliance risk or mandatory risks. When you say compliance or mandatory risk, from the word compliance, comply. Like for example, in our college, right, part of our classroom rules would be the wearing of proper uniforms, right? So, like Monday to Thursday, you should wear your gala uniform, and Fridays would be org shirt. And especially when you have exams or quizzes, there is a risk that you will not be given the chance to take the exam or quiz if you are not in your proper uniform. That is compliance risk that you should consider. Ba? Maybe for some other instructors, maybe in other departments, they will allow you. But in our college, there is a very big chance that or very big chance that you will not be able to take your quiz or exam just because you did not follow the rules or the classroom or the college um, rules. So that is also or that is also applicable to other types of or when we are talking about other things, um, especially for the legal requirements. So in here, for example, a business that fails to comply with environmental regulations could face fines or legal actions. Right? Um, let's say they did not comply with the permits, with the the necessary documents in putting up a business. There is a chance that yeah, the government might close it for unless they will comply, something like that. Kasi kailangan nga yun, from the word compliance, comply, they need to follow the rules and regulations. Okay, so next one would be hazard or pure risks. When you say hazard or pure risks, it's 100% negative outcome. Walang benefit. Ito, dito nagpo-fall yung definition ni Oxford na 100%. So, most of the time when you say hazard or pure risks, it talks about accidents, natural disasters or technological failures. O nga naman, if there is a typhoon, would there be a benefit when something like that happens to a business, right? So there's a chance that um, yep, their products will be wasted or will be damaged because of the flood or something like that. Walang gain. Yun yung hazard or pure risk. Okay? Yeah, fire, especially fire. A company's factory could be damaged by a fire, causing production delays and financial losses. Next one is control or uncertainty risks. Risks with a high degree of uncertainty regarding outcomes, often associated with complex projects or market fluctuations. For example, a startup company might face uncertainty about the success of its new product launch. So, of course, there is no guarantee like that when you put up a business, it will 100% be successful. It is 100% successful. So, yeah, there's this still uncertainty. Pero kailangan mong, tignan din yon. That's why you have to do things that would mitigate these kinds of risks. And Okay? So, moving on to opportunity risks. Ito medyo positive. Ayan. Like, when you are gambling, gambling, when you're gambling, you gamble money because you think you will be gaining if you will win. Like, if you bet 1,000 pesos, you are thinking positively that if you win, it will become 2,000 pesos. So that's opportunity risks. From the word opportunity, or yeah, or speculative risks. You are looking forward to the positive gain. So examples would be like investments, business ventures, or investing in like new machinery. Let's say you have your business, and then you think that if you buy this kind of machine, your production will double and you will be gaining much more than what you are earning right now. So despite of being expensive, kahit na mahal siya, bibilin mo siya kasi you're thinking na ito, mas magkakaroon ang gains dito pag binili ko to. Parang gano'n. Yun ang opportunity risks. Okay? So, ayan. So, we now move on to risk management process. First is risk identification. Of course, you have to identify. So, how can you manage something without identifying the risk? Such as, yeah, the potential risks that could affect a project, organization, or decision. Second is risk assessment, evaluating the likelihood and impact of each identified risk. This involves considering factors such as probability of the risk occurring, the potential consequences, and the resources available to manage the risk. Take a look at that. The resources available to manage the risk, right? So, of course, if you need to manage something, you need money, you need resources, manpower. Okay? So, gaano ga ano yun, gaano kataas or gaano kataas ang kakayahan mo para ma-mitigate or ma-manage yung risk. Okay? And then risk response, developing strategies to respond to each risk, including avoidance, avoiding the risk altogether, mitigation, reducing the likelihood or impact of risk, transfer is shifting the risk to another party, such as through insurance, and acceptance, accepting the risk and taking no action. So once you already assess, so what will be the risk response, right? So, pinakamaganda, ideally, would be avoidance, which is avoiding the risk altogether. But somehow, there are still pros and cons in avoiding because there's a chance na wag na lang gawin, right? At least i-mitigate na lang sana. Kasi when you say mitigation, you are reducing or reducing the effect, the impact, the likelihood of the risk. And risk monitoring and control, continuously monitoring risks and implementing controls to ensure that risks are being managed effectively. So, once it is happening, there should be a continuous monitoring and control measures, okay? So that uh, these risks could be avoided or mitigated. Okay. So, uh, for example, just an example. So there's this event, like a marathon event that I was part of. So of course, if you're going to hold a marathon event, there are different kinds of risks involved. First would be, of course, the runner's safety. Ayan. So even though, of course, there's the risk of accidents or health hazards. For example, yung isang runner, meron pala siyang health issues. Meron pala siyang may tendency siyang cardiac arrest. E di pag nangyari yon sa mismong event, cargo ng organization, yung ganon, right? So, Ayan, yun yung mga unang-unang ma-identify na risk. Pangalawa, yung safety ng runners during the event. So, may chance na mahagip sila ng mga sasakyan kasi nga syempre magra-run sila sa highway, meron ng rota, 'di ba? O ayan, yan yung mga pwedeng mangyari. Tapos ano pa ba? Yung yung third, kahit na walang traffic, kahit na walang sasakyan, pwede silang madapa, accidents can happen during the event, right? So those are some of the risks that can happen. So anong ginawa namin? So in-assess, so based din dun sa kaya namin gawin, we have manpower, the we have tasks, there are tasks delegated to us. We map out the, what they call this one, we mapped out the route or the route towards the finish line, like 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and 25 kilometers. And then there's this committee who is in charge of different stations. Like station one, this committee will be in charge of this one, and will provide water, will ensure that nobody's cheating, that because some of the runners are, there's a tendency for some runners na mag-cheat, na mag-u-turn na sila kaagad kung nakita nilang may shortcut papuntang finish line. So, kailangan yun ma-ensure na hindi mangyayari ng mga committee. So, syempre, ayan, magpro-provide, kailangan do sa risk response, to mitigate that one, meron kaming baller na ibibigay sa bawat section or sa bawat phase nung, for example, 10 kilometers. So, sa 5 kilometers, merong station 1 doon, may bibigay na baller. Ibig sabihin natapos na yung station 1 na yun. No? Next station 2, may bibigay na namang baller. Para ganun, para ma-ensure na kapag na-receive na push, na-achieve or na-reach na yung finish line, talagang kinumpleto niya. No? Tapos, of course, sa bawat stations, merong water station to avoid necessary dehydration, ganyan. And of course, before the event happened, we already communicated with the first aid, the Red Cross team. Ayan, merong nakaantabay na pang first aid in partnership with the LGU, the local government unit, and the ano na yung traffic enforcers? Poso, yeah. Poso. Na ano na rin kami na pinasaraduhan yung way, yung highway. Magre-reroute yung mga buses, trucks, yung mga private vehicles para hindi maabala ang mga runners. And there's this just time period, like for example 5 a.m. hanggang 7 a.m. Ganun lang dapat matatapos yung event. May ensure na matatapos yung event. Kasi syempre makakaabala yung event sa traffic kapag heavy traffic na siya. I mean, ibabalik na or tatanggalin na yung mga barriers. So, kailangan ma-assure na within the time period lang siya matatapos. Dapat by 7 a.m. nasa finish line na sila or nasa auditorium na sila for the awarding. Ayan, yung mga ginawa naming risk response to mitigate this one. And of course, when it comes to the health of the runners, nagpagawa kami ng waiver. At the same time, we asked them to submit anong tawag dito, yung medical check-up na, medical certificate that they are fit to run. Ayun. So, upon submitting their application forms, naka-attach doon yung waiver nila and yung tawag dito, the medical certificate. Once na nakuha na namin, then ibibigay namin yung race kits nila, which is yun yung gagamitin nila during the event. Yung race kit nila, it includes their jersey, their singlet, their, yung number, whatsoever, yan. Basta race kit siya. So, hindi kasi namin pinapayagan yung mga hindi naka-race kit or hindi naka-uniform or hindi official na damit. Kasi, may tendency yung mga iba na nakiki-join lang sila kahit na hindi sila nagpa-register. Tapos what if sila yung nanalo? Tapos i-claim nila na nanalo sila, may prize yon. I remember the price was 25,000 for 25 kilometers. So, syempre maraming may gustong sumama or maki-join doon. Eh what if hindi sila yun nga, just what I mentioned earlier, um, hindi sila nagpa-register. Hindi naman sila makakapag-register kung wala yung mga attachments na yon sa kanilang application. So, yun yung mga ginawa naming risk response para mamitig. What I mean is, we reduce the likelihood of these kinds of risk. Okay, para at least malinis. And all throughout, sinamahan ng PNP at saka po, so yeah, PNP yung mga runners, aside from meron ding pacer na nakatalaga from the org. Yung pacer, sila yung sasama sa mga racers. Kasama nila na official. At the same time, kasama sa likod yung mga police or yung mga poso ba yun or police, I don't know. Para just in case na may mangyari, ayun, kaya nilang saklolohan. And also, may nakaantabay nga na emergency kasi may mga ibang racers na napupulikat, hindi na nila kayang matapos yung race nila. So from there, pwede na silang sunduin nung Red Cross or nasundo ng ambulansya para ihatid na doon sa finish line. Pero syempre, disqualified na sila. Hindi na sila pwede doon sa prize kasi nga hindi nila natapos. So, yan yung mga planning, kumbaga before the mismong event, kailangan na foresight mo na kung ano yung mga risks involved. So that's a real experience that I could share with you para mas magets ninyo tong risk management na ito. Okay? So next one, risk classification systems. So there are different kinds how we classify risks. First is the source, of course, saan nanggagaling. Operational ba siya? Financial ba? Strategic ba siya? Impact, of course, the effect. Is there or is it about the financial effect or financial impact or about the reputation? Let's say, for example, there is a leaked convo screenshot. Yan, mga reputational risk ng mga artista natin sa sino ba yung latest na involved? Nakalimutan ko na artista. Sino na yan? Si Maris Racal. Yan, part yan. Reputational risk yon. Siyempre kasi may nag-leak na convo. Kulang yung control measures nila. Kasi may nag-leak. Ayan yon. And likelihood, probability of occurrence, gaano kadalas. So, malamang like floods dito or typhoon, madalas ang typhoon sa Philippines and flooding. So, ayun, yun yung isa sa mga risk. And magnitude, the severity of impact. Ayan, gaano ka lakas or kalaki ang effect, negative effect ng risk na iyon. Okay? So now, when you're going to identify these kinds of risk, you need to map out the risk likelihood and magnitude. So when you say likelihood, andito siya sa low or sa y-axis. Again, gaano kadalas mag-occur. So malamang sa Philippines, ang typhoon, madalas mangyari, right? Siguro mga 10 beses o 10 to 15 times na nagkakaroon ng typhoon, which causes flooding. Ayan. Yung magnitude na yon, galing effect, ilan ang nasisirang gamit, ilan ang nasisirang crop sa farm, ilan ang namamatay, talaga. Ilan na yung tawag doon? Casualties na yun. Ilan ang casualties within that place. Yan yung mga kailangang tignan. Okay? So, we have different kinds of risk. Yan, dyan mo ipa-plot. Kumbaga, yung low likelihood, low magnitude, high likelihood, low magnitude. Ayan. So, syempre dito, ito yung pinaka-severe. Mataas na nga si likelihood, madalas na nga mangyari, malaki pa yung impact. Ito yung worst. So, kung fire, let's say fire, typhoon, earthquake, siguro si earthquake, dito siya. Dito siya low, pero somehow, low likelihood and low magnitude kung mga 4 lang or may na 3. Ayun, sa mga bahaing lugar, like siguro Kalasyaw, o pa bang mga bahain dito sa Pangasinan. Ayan, na talagang masisira yung crops. Dito siguro high likelihood. High likelihood dito pala siya. High likelihood and high magnitude kasi maraming masisira. Maraming masisirang properties, agriculture, ayan. So, ayan. Fire. Pwede rin fire, madalang lang naman yun. Ito, low likelihood, high magnitude, pwede dito. Kasi madalang lang naman ang fire, ang apoy, ang fire, sunog, pero tupok naman lahat kapag nangyari. Kaya high magnitude siya. So, ayan, ganyan po siya magpa-plot. Ganyan po kayo magpa-plot. I-identify nyo muna lahat ng risks na pwedeng mangyari and then ipa-plot nyo siya based dito sa risk map. So, we have two kinds na sinasabi, inherent and residual risk. When you say inherent, ito yung nandun na risk na hindi mo pa ginagalaw, wala pang intervention measures, there are no risk management actions yet. You know? But when you say residual risk, right after you do the mitigation, ito yung residual ngayon, natira, from the word residual, the level of risk that remains after you do the mitigation. Okay? Kumbaga again, inherent, ito yung risk na nandoon bago mo pagawin yung risk management process or mitigation. Sa residual, ito yung natitirang risk after mo ma-mitigate. Yan yun. So in conclusion, understanding risk is essential for success in many aspects of life. By learning to identify, assess, and manage risks, you can make more informed decisions, reduce the likelihood of negative outcomes. So that's it. Okay? If you have any questions, so just comment on stream our Google Classroom. Okay, see you around.